What up, guys? So today I want to show you guys an update of our grafting from last year. Kind of tell you about some things that I've learned from that, and I'll show you the grafting I'm doing this year and the result of it so far. So stay tuned. So this is our winter's mango. We grafted a bunch of things here. Didn't we didn't have a major success from it, but to me it is. We have this coconut cream that pushed very weakly. It looks like it's about to push again right here. A lot of these were grafted in August 2024. It is May of 2025. And this one, I lost the label. So I'm gonna have to figure, I have a list of names of what it may be. And so once it fruits, I should be able to pinpoint exactly what that is. And this is, I believe, a carabao. This is a carabao from my own tree. This right here is a Philippine. I think it's similar. I think it's probably the same tree, but I wanted to make sure because I wanted to have the carabao slash Philippine variety. And so I was able to procure this from a graft from Florida, a budwood from Florida. This is an LZ right here. It's lemon zest. Okay, that graft healed very well, and it looks like it's about to push. It's got some. It got a little bit of like some kind of fungal pressure during the winter, but it's looking pretty good at this moment. And I'm surprised as hopefully I'm not gonna flush flowers. Hopefully it's late enough where it's gonna have a second flush from this graft point. So you got the first flush here and a second flush that's going to be vegetation. This is an LZ that has not yet flushed out, or it tried right here, but it died because of the heat that we had last summer when we hit like 111 degrees. But look at this. I don't know if you can see that. Look at this. It is pushing new growth. Look at that. These buds weren't here. These buds were dormant, and it's starting to push out. So that's gonna be the first flush. The graft point has healed nicely. We have this other LZ, similar. Tried to push out here initially, but failed because of the high heat. It just got fried. And look at that. Let me see if we can, right there. Okay, that's pushing out. That was a dormant bud, and it now has bulged, and it is going to push. This is a Bombay. I mean, it pushed a really decent. It had a really decent push of vegetation, but look at this. This looks like anthracnose. I'm not too well versed with issues, disease with mangoes, but to me, based on the pictures, this probably is anthracnose. Shoot out what you think this is, guys, in the comments section, because I want to know. I don't like to spray my trees. I do try it to spray it when I get scions from Florida, because sometimes when you get them, they come in with this black mold or black film on the scion wood. And but yeah, I mean, this is pushing up. It looks pretty good, and it's starting to push out new bulging buds. So we shall see. We shall see. This is a peach cobbler right here, and look at that graft. It's like a modified wedge veneer graft. And this particular one right here is I forgot what, that's just a regular cleft graft, my understanding. Sorry if I'm getting my terminologies wrong, but I mean, I'm new to all of this. This is a new graft. This is a pickering that we grafted this season. I don't know if you can see that, but that bud right there is pushing out. And this is a Kia Savoy, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is a Kia Savoy. Pushed at this semi-weak growth, but it's looking decent. It was a very thin budwood, but it's looking pretty decent. Got a little bit of fungal pressure, but not too bad. So lesson from here, you gotta protect your grafts, guys. You gotta, if it's exposed to the sun here, you gotta protect them, especially when we have really high heat above 90s. You gotta protect them. So this is what we did. We hit like 102 degrees, believe 2 days ago. It occurred for about 2 to 3 days, and hopefully this wasn't too late. Okay, but what I noticed, and I'll show you later, is that the sun rays, when it gets above 90, it turns to burn, especially from the graft point, and it probably evaporates the water that's in there, and it causes it to fail. I'll show you. But before I do, this is our Namdok Mai on a likely turpentine rootstock. And this tree has become pretty vigorous in the last few years, probably because it's getting established into the ground. I top worked this last year, pruned it heavily because it had lower branching that I wanted to get rid of. And also partly because I thought that, cutting it would improve the graft. I mean, the energy going into the graft. I think I was wrong in that, or maybe because a lot of these got sunburnt. It was left unprotected. I probably didn't protect it one day when it got hot unexpectedly, because I kept on, removing the protection when I thought the weather was kind of like this, overcast, and then suddenly it just got super hot. And let me show you what happened here, because I also forgot to protect it. Right here. Right there. It tends to occur right here. Now this could be fungal as well, but this scion I got from a very reliable source, person who's really, really clean. And I think what happens is that this thing gets burnt right here, or things evaporate, and this budwood just loses, it just dies. So it could be fungal as well, but I think based on my experience last year, this could be sunburn, and exposure to the heat and elements. And so my goal is to just protect this with aluminum foil, or with this, or better yet, a shade cloth. I'll show you later with some of my grafts that's protected with cover from our support trees. And so this is gonna fail. I think this is gonna fail. This is an orange, what's this? Orange sherbet that's going to fail. I already know it. I could probably try to save this and maybe try to graft this to another place, but I don't know. I don't wanna. I learned from last year where if it's a low percentage rate of success, I won't even try to graft onto it, because grafting reduces the vigor because it stunts it. I mean, you're literally destroying a branch from a tree that's growing. And so we have a few grafts here. Look at this. I think this is a creme brulee. Look at that, guys. Look at that. This was 4/2. It was a graft April 2, and it is first week of May. Well, actually, second week of May. I don't even know my date today. And look at that. That is so exciting. I don't know. So exciting for me. And here is another graft that's about to push. This is a Giselle. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it, but it's starting to push. And so exciting. So I'll show you the other stuff. There's a lot of failures, definitely. We grafted onto here. We cut, and cut, and we grafted it, and it set this tree back. And grafting will set your trees back if you have a grafting failure. Like right here, I mistakenly used this keep as a rootstock. There was a branching here and here, and we grafted on both, and it failed. And so I'm gonna try to leave these trees alone. Oh yeah, and one more thing. It seems like each rootstock has a variation on when it wants to push. Like this particular one, I think I grafted it later in the season when it had its last push, and I think that had some to do with the failures of the graft. And so if you know your rootstock and the times that it pushes throughout the year, probably will help you with your success rate. It's just a hunch of mine. I'm still new to this. This is like my third year grafting. I failed 100%. I had 100% failure about 2 years ago. Last year I had about 15 to 23% success rate, and this year I'm hoping to dramatically improve upon that rate of success. All right, so this year I had some tips from friends. One of them said, put it in a greenhouse, right? And somebody said you can make a quick makeshift cheap greenhouse, and that grafts will take better inside a greenhouse where it's protected from the elements, perhaps gets a higher level of temperature throughout the day, especially during the winter time and springtime. And here is a makeshift greenhouse. So we just got these stakes. We use these clips. We bought a huge roll of greenhouse plastic, and here it is. This is a Corriente with a peach cobbler sign wood, and look at that, it's pushing. And this is a Corriente with a lemon meringue, and it's got some pushes, not pushes, it's got some bud swelling, but it hasn't moved much. And based on what I'm seeing, a lot of the ones that are in these makeshift greenhouse are actually pushing much faster. I'll now show you. Here's one, another lemon meringue or a popucale, and it's being shaded by this Mexican sunflower throughout the day, but it still gets a little bit of sunlight. So this one hasn't gotten burnt. This one as well. This is an M4 on an Ataulfo rootstock, and it's still green, protected by this castor bean. And we have this, I think it's another M4 on a Manila. And look at this, it gets a little bit of protection from here when the sun is out that way, but then the sun comes this way. And when we had our 102-degree weather, it burnt it from this side. It started from this side, and now that whole thing is pretty much dried out. This is going to be a failure. So I need to find a replacement graft for this, and I'll probably just do a modified veneer on this side and allow this to grow just in case there's another failure. But here's another, looking pretty decent, right there. But notice that This one doesn't have a push just yet. Here's one in a makeshift greenhouse right here. No push yet. Okay, but I can tell that's getting bigger right there. This is a maha onto an atoll food stock. This is inside this makeshift greenhouse. This is another maha right there, looking really nice. That this part right here is starting to swell up. Here's one that pushed. It's an orange sherbet right there, looking beautiful, 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 beautiful. And this was grafted on the 11th of April, I believe. Yep, 11th of April. And it pushed much faster. Here's another one in this makeshift greenhouse. And these guys are starting to push. Look at that. It's trying. Probably just need another hot weather. And this is an Angie, and yeah, this is an Angie, and I believe this is another orange sherbet. So let me show you the other ones that pushed, and I'll show you our primary greenhouse that we have here. This is another maha. Hasn't pushed yet, but I can see it. I don't know if you can see that, but it wants to push. This one is protected also, despite the fact that it's in the greenhouse and it gets pretty hot. It's protected from all that extreme UV rays. Same thing with this one. You see this leaf from the castor bean. It's protecting it from all that high UV ray. This one was a pretty bad scion wood. It looks like it's starting to dry out. Still green on this side, but I think this one was, yeah, it was a poor scion. I believe this is an Angie, a little gem actually. That's a little gem. Yeah, I'm not expecting much from that. I'll probably graft another one on it. This is a sweet tart. Its buds are swelling, but nothing yet. Here is another, I believe, sweet tart. Yeah, this is a sweet tart, and it pushed. Look at that, it pushed. And this is a peach cobbler. It's starting to push. And I believe this is another peach cobbler. I don't want to mess with that, but I think it's kind of trying to pushing. Try what? What are we trying? All right, just give me a moment. I'm almost done. Almost done. All right, we couldn't wait too long. Hey, excuse the mess in the back. So we got these mahas. Maha Chinook on atoll for rootstock. They call it Manila, but this is atoll fo, and I'm perfectly fine with that because atoll fo does very well here. Here's another maha trying to fruit. I know I'm supposed to remove these once. So fruit wise, got a tip from a friend that you should leave the flowers on during winter and spring, because we're gonna try not to have a second bloom of flowers, because we want these things to grow new vegetation. So if you cut them prematurely while the weather is below 60, it has a tendency to flush flowers, and we don't want that if you're trying to grow. It's perfectly fine if it's already mature and you want a second flush, so that you can hopefully get a second flush during a time when it's not powdery mildew season. Okay, but here I think we're gonna end up keeping a few because I spent so much on mangoes, and I think the wife wants some results, so I can have an excuse to buy more. Oh, I think she heard that. Anyways, so this is our makeshift greenhouse right here. We did this because I didn't want to have to make the frame of a new one just yet. This is an experiment. This is a heated greenhouse. Okay, it's probably not ideal to do this throughout the winter unless we get real good insulation. And I'm told that this produces heat that dries out the scions, and so I got to be careful with that as well. So I'm out here making sure that these are all well watered. And anyways, let me show you what we have here. We got this sweet tart that has just recently pushed, and look at this maha pushing, sugarloaf pushing. We got these this Venus that just pushed. I believe that's an M4. What's this? I don't want to go over there and mess up this scion here with rubbing off this perfectly new push up. That would be very upsetting. But we got these new ones here that are pushing. These were from last year, guys. That's a lemon meringue. On when we grafted it, it was a 3-month-old rootstock. Okay, and look at that, it's pushing new growth. I just trimmed off that branch right here. Okay, so this is kind of like a modified veneer / wedge graft. Same thing with this. Look at that lemon meringue pushing out new growth. Once I saw this growth flush, I trimmed off that branch right, you can see right there. Okay, I trimmed it off. It's looking fantastic. And so from now on, I think I'm gonna leave, if there's a branching up here, I'll leave that on, like I'm leaving this on right here, and I'll just wait for this thing to like do well, push out, and kind of harden the leaves, and then I'll cut it off. But there's more stuff, right? That's our fruit punch. I don't know, let me zoom it in. Jeez Louise. That is a fruit punch. It's got buds that's really starting to push. We got another sweet tart right there. That's beginning to push. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. This is a wedge graft right here, keeping the new growth in. It's a sea crest, not pushing yet, but this guava right here. Come on. Right there. Starting to push. I don't know if you can see it right there on the left side. So I don't want to mess this up there. Right there. Starting to push. I can tell because I watch this every day, guys. Every day they're playing peekaboo with me. But this lets me know that this protected greenhouse is really working. And the fact that, it gets a few hours of, heat when temps drop below 60 seems to help these grafts. See, I even got these heating lamps to help too during the times when I'm expecting weather below 60. And then I got this shade cloth during the high, the harsh weather we get sometimes. And it seems to help. I also got these filled with water, and they heat up, right? Yeah, that's still warm from yesterday. And it kind of helps with, getting these temps just maybe 4 to 5 degrees higher compared to outside. and then I have, you know, this thing to kind of semi-insulate it. Next year, I'm gonna do a double insulation, and perhaps put like insulation foam material on the sides and really get some insulation going so that we can hopefully heat up all these scions or all the grafts, and keep the temps well above 60 degrees to prevent flushes of flowers, and make it so that they have vegetative flush even in the winter and early spring. And so that's the goal, because you know they only get 3 to 5 flushes a year, and if they flush 2 to 3 times and it's just all flower buds, that really decreases the growth rate of, you know, these mango trees. And that's just the case here in California, and we want to prevent that. All right, guys, hopefully you learned something, because I'm learning something every day. If there's something that you know and you want to spread the knowledge, please let me know in the comments. All right, guys, peace.